So, as I was saying in the last video, the Gallup polling that just came out that in the first time in 25 years, Americans sympathize with Palestinians over Israelis. I feel like what people need to understand about what a monumental shift that is that this is how Americans feel with all the propaganda. This is how Americans are feeling with billions and billions of dollars of Israeli propaganda shoved down the American people's throats and through our eyeballs all day, every day, for our entire lives. Even the way they frame it, Middle Eastern situation. Like, Americans still are now siding with the Palestinians, even with that insane media framing that we are constantly living with, where they constantly frame the Palestinians as other. So that means that billions and billions and billions of dollars and years of indoctrination and propaganda from our Zionist media isn't working. It is, in fact, why they forced the sale of TikTok. And this is amongst all Americans now. Doesn't matter partisan affiliation, okay? They know they're losing conservatives, which is why they hired a firm to geo-fence churches to try to get them to stay pro-Israel. Approved a budget of $2.35 billion in a Hasbara budget for campaigns and influencers in 2026. The budget will be used for campaigns to raise awareness and promote Israel worldwide. What do you think this money is going to? You guys, back in September, and I went through the entire study on live when it came out, it was leaked that according to Israel's own research and internal polling, that they were viewed as a genocidal apartheid country. They commissioned an American polling firm to perform a sweeping battery of service and focus groups coupled with message testing aimed at rehabilitating Israel's image, both in the United States and in Europe. The most diabolical part of this entire survey and study is when they found that the most effective way to try to get people back on Israel's side was to demonize Muslims. Israel's best tactic to combat this, according to the study, is to foment fear of radical Islam and jihadism. I love this one though. By highlighting Israel's support for women's rights and gay rights, while elevating concerns that Hamas wants to destroy all Jews and spread jihadism. This is the key part. By doing that, Israel's support rebounded by an average of over 20 points in each country. First of all, you're never going to convince me that you actually support women and gay rights when you don't support the queer people in Gaza that exist and you don't support the women in Gaza. In fact, more than half of the people killed in Gaza since the genocide started have been women and children. They starved Gaza for months and won't even allow feminine products into the strip so that women have had to use tent scraps as feminine products. But you're pro-women's rights? Actually get the fuck out of here. Gay marriage still isn't legal, by the way, in Israel. But going back to the Islamophobia and fear-mongering around jihadism, that is how they're planning on rebounding from it. And you can actually see how this has taken shape recently. Since they approved their Hasbara budget, you have seen a non-stop influx of influencers and propaganda on every social media site. From Zionist lawmakers and their influencers talk about the Islamic takeover of the West. What do you think Tommy Robinson is? What do you think he is? He is a propagandist for the Israeli regime that spreads Islamophobic hate and anti-Muslim rhetoric in order to whip people up because they know that it is easier to spread hate against Muslims and Arabs and Islam than it is to get people to support Israel. Look at that. He just came to the U.S. to go meet with that genocidal lunatic, Randy Swan, to make up shit about how Sharia law is coming to take your dog. This is the kind of slopaganda they're paying these influencers the big bucks for. And as infuriating and ridiculous as this is, it does give me some hope to see this polling, to see that so far it has not been working. But make no mistake about it, they are not giving up. That is why they are spending all that money on the influencers. That is why they are spending so much money on media consolidation. That is why they voted to ban TikTok. They're not geofencing churches, spending billions of dollars on their Hasbara budget, and consolidating all this media for nothing. No, there is a reason why they are doing all of these things. Part of it is just to serve billionaires. Like, obviously, that's a huge part of it. The billionaires want to control the entire media so that you'll continue to be a bootlicking serf to them. But make no mistake about it, they are also both committed Zionists. Larry Ellison is the single largest individual donor to the IOF in this country. And we know that a big reason why they're also consolidating all this media is because the oligarchs want to control the country and want to usher in tech feudalism on the ashes of this late-stage capitalism. And as Trump's biggest donor and as the owner of Oracle, of course they want to consolidate all this media so that they can continue to spy on us and control us via the surveillance state. But all of that cannot be disconnected from the Israeli regime. He is the owner of Oracle. He is the one that said people were going to be on their best behavior once they were being watched all the time via the surveillance state.
We're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
And this was him, again, the largest single donor to the IOF, friends of the IDF, talking about his feelings on Israel.
Well, the renewal of the Jewish state is something that I think touches all of us. For 2,000 years, we were a stateless people. And now we have a country of our own, defended by all the brave men and women of the IDF. So anything we can do to support them who devote their lives for preserving the state of Israel, keeping the people safe, and allowing our state to continue sometimes in very, very difficult situations. I have been to Israel. I've been to the border. I have spent time to the people who govern the state of Israel. And I feel a deep emotional connection to the state of Israel and the Israeli people.
You are an high-tech person. What do you think about Israeli startups and high-tech phenomena?
Oh, well, after Silicon Valley, there's an area, Herzliya has probably got more startups than any other place other than Silicon Valley in Northern California. So we've actually acquired a number of Israeli companies. We have 2 CEOs at Oracle. One's name is Safra Katz, and she was born in Israel. So again, we love the country of Israel, and we'll do everything we can to support the country of Israel.
Recently, hear that many people criticizing Israel, especially after the Gaza operation. How do you feel someone just saying we love Israel so much?
Well, again, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? To conduct military operations around civilians is very difficult.
First of all, it's dark as fuck that he's being asked about the Gaza operation and the high amount of civilian casualties. And at first you think they're talking about the Gaza genocide, but then you look at the data and you realize it's from 2014. And then you remember that they've actually done multiple operations where they kill tons of Gazan civilians. Second of all, girl, who is we? You were born in New York City. You're American. Not only did Larry Ellison host Netanyahu at his private island, he literally offered him a post at Oracle. No one consented to this, okay? It is one thing for me to yell and scream and be enraged about my own government and my own country because it's my country and it's my government. No American consented for our leaders and the people that run our country, the owners of this country, the drivers of policy in this country, all the big donors and corporations and tech billionaires in this country, to be governing on behalf of a foreign government. And that would include all of our lawmakers, like Chris Murphy, pretending to be outraged, sir, about this new acquisition from another conglomerate. Because, bitch, I don't see your name on the list of people that voted against the TikTok sale. Literally, the only 2 Democratic senators that voted against the TikTok ban were Jeff Merkley and Chris Van Hollen. You, Senator Chris Murphy, voted to force the sale of TikTok, opening the door and paving the way for Oracle and Larry Ellison's consortium to take it over. No, what he's doing there is election campaigning. Oh, we're really gonna stick it to him and do something about this when Democrats take power. Yeah. And then when Democrats take power, they come up with 955,000 excuses as to why there was nothing they could do. The Israeli influence on our lawmakers and our government and our media is so out of control, and literally no one voted for that shit. The one thing that does give me hope, though, despite all the Zionist billionaire media moguls doing this consolidation and our entire government and the force of the TikTok sale, people are not buying it. People are seeing through the Israeli propaganda. Why do you think they're trying to rush this regime change war with Iran? Are you guys ready for that conversation?